Ah, there we go. Right, audio back on my side. And Craig and Tar Heels having a great battle there. The Tar Heels hanging on for third place. Apologies for the technical issues. Craig is going to go back at Tar Heels. A classic move or sequence of moves that we will find quite often at this track with the two DRS zones in quick succession. Often if you don't get them through the first two corners in the chicane, you can often get them on that straight down into turn number 3. And that's what you've just seen there. It's also a really good way to defend. Northern Canucks had a good season, as we said earlier. Slightly struggling in the last 3 races, but as you can see, super consistent. And he's just watching this battle in front unfold. Quite a common sight around this track. It is relatively hard to overtake, especially through Sector 2. So you've really got to save that ERS and make it count normally through this sequence here of corners. Just the final corner and then through to the main straight in Sector 3. DRS will be enabled as we are now approaching lap number 3 as Joe sets the fastest lap of the race. And hopefully I don't miss anything, but I'm going to open the Twitch comments. I've had so many technical issues, I'm sorry. Oh, Villeneuve's in the pits. Nothing too bad there. And DUH Hildo Baggins, what a name. Never heard of him, but welcome to PRL. And he is fighting with Heitstrand for 5th place, hanging on in there at the moment. Tar Heels, though, seems pretty happy, although did back off a little bit there. I'm really hoping that you can all hear me now. Apologies again for the technical issues. I've just loaded up the chat. I can see Gord, who had a fantastic race in Tier 1. He won that race pretty comfortably in the end. Had a little bit of pressure from Barstool Benny, but otherwise it was fairly routine, to me anyway, it seems. Great race from him, and he's hoping, of course, for his teammates in the Mercedes to do well, and that's Northern and I take Dr. J, I always get his name wrong. And Northern just hanging on there at the back of the train. Nothing wrong with that at this stage. And if you look at the battery life, looking pretty comfortable there. Let's have a look at the tyres, and then we'll look at position changes. So we've got all of the drivers on medium tyres, except for Marchena on the hard. And if we look at position changes, yeah, as expected, Craig managing to get the jump on Tar Heels. But Tar Heels looking like he really wants that place back. Hildo Baggins, again, what a name. I mean, Gord, yeah, I mean, I don't know, you know, Bastianeft, you just got to race your own race. You won it by, I think, 8 seconds. You forced the guy in second to have to pit and try something new. So yeah, maybe comfortable was, I didn't mean that in a harsh way. I meant it in a good way. You did well to have that good a gap. You can clearly compete, which is good. And yeah, Hildo not quite able to get that move on high scram, but he's looking really close. And disgruntled. I suppose by his standards recently, this will be disappointing for him. He'll want to catch back up the order. One place down so far from his starting position, but clearly has a lot of pace and a lot of form. This is a difficult track for track limits, but I mean, we're 5 laps in, and 2 drivers already with penalties, so we've got to be super careful. Yeah, appreciate the kind words, Gord. I've definitely improved with my race consistency, so I can now set, you know, I can do like a 50% race distance without making too many mistakes. Or I'll ignore last week though, but otherwise, that bit I've improved on. The bit I haven't improved is my raw pace. In the meantime though, Northern Canuck on high scram, so he's biding his time. He's obviously got past Hildo, sorry I missed that. But wasn't quite able to get the move on high scram, but this is really shaping up. I think we've had a driver go wide, and that's going to get quite awkward. Disgruntled's got to navigate his way around the outside of the out-of-shape Hildo Baggins, and he's done that really, really well. It's going to be super tight here, and we've got another battle in front as well. Northern getting past high scram. Fantastic from Northern Canuck there. Hopefully all of you saw that. That was a terrific move. Great battery life as well. So he's just really perfected the strategy there at this early stage of the race. And he's up into 4th position. I'm sure high scram will be back though. Craig not quite close enough to Joe, but he's hanging on in there in the DRS range, so I think we will end up returning back to this battle for the lead sometime soon. But for now, we're on board with high scram as he tries to reclaim the position from Northern. He won't quite have enough speed to make that move. We have a yellow flag, and we have Baba Yaga, who has spun on exit on the final corner of the race. Sorry, of the lap. That's unfortunate for him. But he's okay, he's moved back up. And in the meantime, high scram all over the back of Northern. Luckily, we haven't missed anything too much there. And I've noticed Craig is closing in on Joe. This is a really interesting race. This track always produces good battles. Not too much of a tyre diff though, so that bit is more linear than expected. Often drivers do start on the hard tyre here, especially if they qualify down the order. Look at that, 4 drivers, and Northern's going to have to do his absolute utmost to defend here. This is not looking quite so good this time round for Northern. But we've also got to be careful of Disgruntled. I'll go to the broadcast view. You've got 3 abreast. Let's go on board with Disgruntled now. Is Northern going to lose to Disgruntled? He might well do. He kind of left the door open. Yeah, and that kind of helped Highscran in the end. Highscran able to kind of defend through the other 2 fighting. And now Northern's in trouble if he doesn't use his battery, which I think he has done. Fantastic job there, and holds on. But these 4 are having a very good little battle. I hope you're enjoying it. And again, Craig is all over the back of Joe now. He gets sort of within 3/10 in certain sections, so he's clearly putting the pressure on. We'll keep an eye on that one. Lap 8 of 36. And again, Marchena, your only hard tyre runner. Everyone else on the medium. Let's see how good Craig's exit is. Not bad. Almost identical. This could be close. It's just down to battery usage, strategy. You don't have to make the move for the lead right now. There's nothing wrong with just tucking in. 2.5 second gap to Tar Heels, so they've managed to break away there from Tar Heels and leave them stranded a little bit. And you can see Craig just slightly lifting there. He doesn't want to do anything silly. He's quite happy with this pace. You know, you can always fight towards the end. I'm not much of a cyclist or avid watcher of cycling, but I know that's a pretty common strategy in cycling, isn't it? Hang on till the last and then use up kind of all your battery, so to speak. So Disgruntled now trying to get past Heightscram. Northern's not having the most ideal time right now. He's kind of fallen back in the pack, but you know, without giving anything away, if you look at that battery, you know, some people could well be playing the long game. Certainly what I'd be doing. This right hander very tricky, but if you get the angle just right, you kind of get a little kick of traction on exit, and you can put the throttle down a little bit earlier than you think. Oh, a bit of a wiggle from Heightscram. Didn't seem very good there on exit, I'm afraid, for him. And Disgruntled will be super happy with that. Should be quite a comfortable overtake. Is he going to go outside? He's on the outside of Heightscram in the Ferrari. And Heightscram's just going to tuck in. In the meantime, Northern not quite close enough. Craig just slightly falling back. But again, only 10 laps in, and he's quite comfortably within DRS range. And you can just see the battery life of some of these drivers. They are pushing to the limit. Villeneuve as well. Let's not miss that at the back. We always like to watch all overtakes here at PRL. Great overtake there by Villeneuve on Baba Yaga. Oh no! I spoke too soon. I'm so sorry, Villeneuve. He is out of the race, and that will be a safety car. Made a great move, and then just put too much throttle down with that sort of 45-degree lock. Oh dear, that's very unfortunate. So a safety car at lap 10. Now that is actually a very good lap to pit onto the hards. So I would say the loser here is Marchena. But if Marchena, if you are listening, you can actually box now, and you can do the medium to the end. You can have that as a guarantee, because I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of us did in Tier 1. But I would say it's advantage everyone else, assuming he hasn't actually now pit. Let's just have a look. Yeah, so Marchena on the hard, he'll be forced onto the medium. He should try and run that to the end, in my opinion. The others, it's just the most simple pit call you'll ever see. It's just pit onto hards and you're done. And that's what you'll see now. I think Joe will be quite happy with that. It just kind of relieves the pressure a little bit in terms of with Craig, and also it might help Joe just because it means Craig then has to watch his mirrors, because I think obviously Joe had Craig all over the back of him and Craig was just full focus forward, so things will change a little bit. it'll be interesting to see how this affects the battle for fourth as well, because that was a fantastic fight. Such clean racing as well. Disgruntled currently leading that pack, so he did really well to actually go from the back of that train to the front. I mean, at one point he was in 7th, so that's great from him, but ultimately it's a full reset now. Northern probably the loser of this, because he's now going to have Dr. J right behind him, albeit in the sister Mercedes, or sorry, as his teammate in the Mercedes. But as you see, Inception, Marchena and Baba Yaga all leaving the pits. Let's have a little look at the race director. So Craig has done medium to medium. I wanted to check that because I saw a few of the colours of the tyres and I thought, what is going on? So Craig has elected to stay on the medium. That does mean he's going to have to pit again. I'm guessing that's a mistake, or he's expecting another incident. Because honestly, if there's not another incident, he will kick himself for not going on the hards. It's as simple as that. Same with Hildo. I can only assume that they... I've got to make sure I don't mispronounce the word Hildo. I might just call him Baggins from now on. But anyway, he needs to be really careful. I mean, I'm actually surprised how many drivers have gone medium. Maybe they don't know the hard tyre can last, but it really can. The hard tyre will easily last to the end from there. But yeah, just running through the pit stops, you can see those. Villeneuve and Inception had to actually change their front ring as well. In terms of collisions, Marchena, multiple warnings. Inception, that's basically exceeding track limits 3 times. You get that. Villeneuve, of course, we saw that on board. He unfortunately span and lost his front left tyre, but nothing crazy there. All pretty standard stuff. And we're just waiting now for Baba Yaga to catch up with the back of the safety car train. And we will definitely be restarting this lap. So yeah, a lap 13 restart. I really hope that everyone on board is enjoying the race so far. Please feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments. And there we go, Baba Yaga has caught up. So here we go. Let's jump to Joe. When will he launch? He's going to have Craig for company. I don't know if launching in second gear might have been a mistake, because he's then got a gear change. Yeah, I would have launched it in third there, and that's allowed Joe to get away slightly. How have the others fared? Quite a lot of action, but no one really being too aggressive. I think it was quite a standard restart in the end. Oh, Craig using a bit of battery and trying to close in on Joe. I completely understand that. I mean, why not? Everyone being very respectful. Clearly a very well matched race in terms of these drivers and their pace. No one is able to particularly just pull away. Although I will say, having said that, the top 2 have already managed to break DRS of Tar Heels. So I think the top 2 have the edge today. I think that much we can say. As Craig is closing in, he's going to go for it. As he also sets the fastest lap, he is not messing around. And they've got to be super careful here. Oh my word. Wow. So I think Craig could have left slightly more room, in all honesty, but somehow, I've never seen this in my life watching F1 or playing the game. They kind of spun into each other, and then I think Craig tagged Joe but then kind of self-corrected himself against Joe, and then they both sort of go on. So, end result, Craig is now winning. He's now leading the race. But they both are fine. I don't think either of them have damage. I think their tyres will be absolutely fine. Temps will be fine. It's allowed Tar Heels back into the equation, though. But I guess that is really the definition of a racing incident. And you go on. But I was fully expecting Craig to be off. Off for a jolly on the grass. So, wow. Bit of synchronised dancing between Craig and Joe on lap 14 of 36. Disgruntled, closing in on Tar Heels a little bit. So I wonder if Joe can now break the DRS of Tar Heels, because that's what they had managed to do. But I tell you what, for the actual race, this has really helped. It's closed them all up. Joe has a 3-second penalty. Going from bad to worse for Joe, as Tar Heels as well is now closing in. Nice line from Tar Heels. This is excellent. I love this. I hope he goes for the move. Oh, it doesn't quite have the room. I mean, I think Joe very much did not want that move to happen there. But yeah, great line from Tar Heels. Good idea. You can do overtakes there if you get the better exit and use the battery. It's another little sneaky spot can be this right-hander, but again, only if the driver in front has a poor exit. You don't want to just dive in there. Finception all over the back of Dr. J. And I'm also noticing Tar Heels and Disgruntled. There's so much going on here. Let's go up to the battle here. So yeah, Tar Heels has got into second because Joe's pit. Okay, Joe's pit. Oh dear, poor Joe. I assume he'll put the mediums on. Oh, Hildo, what a save. What a save by Hildo. Wow. I again thought he was going to be absolutely gone. Marcheno's going to have to run these mediums to the end. He's got to put some pressure on, I think, at this point. Got to try and push while the mediums have the advantage, because they will certainly be delta negative, I think, compared to the hards towards the end. Joe's gone on the soft tyre. Oh, Joe. I know that well, I guess you only have one set of hards unless you elect for the harder compound. But I would have thought he could have put a set of mediums on. I would have thought medium may have been the way to go, but what do I know? Northern's struggling to stay in this group, and Hildo has ridiculous straight line speed. I mean, obviously there's a slight battery discretion there, but discrepancy, sorry, there. Oh, Heitskran's going back in. Did not expect that, and he's going to have DRS. Good strategizing there. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. But I think he's going to struggle because Hildo's car is a rocket ship. Very respectful from Baggins, though. He allowed Heitskran around the outside there. Didn't want to try anything too hard. You can certainly make moves around the outside there. I did that in the Tier 1 race. Was run pretty wide, but you know, it happens. You can race very, very tightly around those sort of corners. It's a great track. And Tar Heels is now again out of DRS range of the leading pack, albeit just now Craig. But we did say at the start, I think Craig and Joe do seem to have the slight edge when it comes to pace today. So Tar Heels is going to have to drive the machine to its limit and himself to the limit if he wants to get back into that DRS range and challenge. And looking at the battle here, sorry, I completely missed that overtake. But looking like there's a battle for second between Disgruntled and Tar Heels. And that may well help Craig, but we'll see. I mean, Disgruntled he's in the form of his life, I feel like. And he won't really want to fight. I'm not sure that fighting here is the right move. You know, this is not what... Oh, I'll tell you what though. Great move. Oh my word. Wow, Tar Heels wanted that place back, but again, at what cost? I think it could be at DRS cost. We'll see. Craig needs to capitalise on these little battles. But still disgruntled, he's really in great form. Seems like he's gained a lot of pace recently. Very late shifts by disgruntled, super aggressive. Oh wow, and Tar Heels is in trouble, which I think is going to really help Craig. But he's got good straight line speed. You know, it's certainly a strategy. It works. Just slightly increased top speed. It helps no end. Marchena on Finception. Gets the move done with DRS. Could even tuck across to the right. Nice move. Up into 8th place. But yeah, this really is the battle now. The battle for sort of 2nd place, let's say. Ooh. Joe is catching up to the back of Babiago at a very rapid pace. So if nothing else, he's having fun. I mean, certainly a safety car would help. But I mean, there's so much going on here because, again, you really have to remember, and hopefully, I'll try and explain it really clearly. Someone spun, actually, 1 second. Babiago spun again in the same place. Oh, no. Babiaga's not having his best race. But right, let's stay on board with Tar Heels. But there's more to this, which I'll try and explain after this sequence of events. I find it really confusing in all honesty, but I'll explain it in a second. So Tar Heels now, he's going to line up Craig. He's going to go for it. I was going to say, that would have been a little bit of a dive, but he kind of did the right thing. He sort of semi-baited Craig to leave space. Net result is no change other than to allow the grid to bunch up, because of course this will slow them all down. So Disgruntled and Heightscran, they'll be more than happy with this. But anyway, the key point I wanted to raise was regarding the tyres. I'll pause the... I don't think I'm going to have a chance to breathe, but to my understanding, Craig and Hildo Baggins have not used 2 different compounds of tyre. And you have to use at least 2 different compounds in a dry race, which is what this is. And therefore, Craig and Baggins will have to box again. So I think they're in big trouble, because Tar Heels comfortably well, not comfortably, but he's overtaking Craig, doing a great job of it. Well done, Tar Heels. And Tar Heels doesn't have to pit, and his tyres will easily last to the end. Craig and Hildo, I'm going to stop saying that, Baggins, they're going to have to pit onto the soft tyre in a few laps' time. And I just don't see them making up the deficit. I mean, you see Joe as an example. Joe is pit, as we're on board with Heightscran versus Disgruntled. Can't quite make that move, but Joe has caught up to Babiaga, but he spun, and then he's got an 8-second gap, and I think by the time he closes up, his tyres will die. So I don't see a world where Craig and Hildo get things done here, which is unfortunate, but I think Tar Heels, you know, and Disgruntled, they've called it with the strategy. They used the safety car to their advantage. Oh, big spin! Big moment, sorry, from Disgruntled, almost spinning, just lost the back end. Great save. But it has allowed Heightscran to close up through that final section, which is pretty much the worst thing possible around here. Oh, good straight line speed from Disgruntled though. Heightscran be kicking himself, he couldn't get that move done. Oh, a little bit wide through there, which has allowed the, Baggins to close up. Got to be so careful through that chicane. If you go deep into corner 1, it compromises you all the way down to corner 3, turn 3, and that can prove pretty costly. A really exciting race though by Tier 2, and I've seen a lot of clean driving. Nice line from Disgruntled. You love to see it. 5 drivers, lap 22, fighting for the win. All in one camera shot. DRS enabled. And let's see if Disgruntled can make the move. Craig has already pit onto the softs, so he's blinked. I think he'll be kicking himself as he sees Tar Heels just roll off into the distance. I think you may well be seeing, I don't want to call things too early because I'll say it now, without a safety car, so assuming no more safety cars, I think these 3 are your contenders, sorry, for the win. I think Hildo is going to have to box pretty soon, and then that's going to allow Northern hopefully to get more into the race, but he may find it's just a case of him and his teammate DRS training themselves through to sort of a 4th. Again, don't want to call it too early. If this is motorsport, anything can happen, and as you can see, it's so easy to spin out here, as Villeneuve unfortunately demonstrated to everyone. But right now, your top 3 have certainly played the race, or played the strategy very well, and they're looking very good here. The driver that's going to struggle is Marchena, who started on the hard tyre and went onto the medium, and I do think he can get to the end, but he's going to have to drive quite smoothly and carefully. That's what I had to do in the Tier 1 race. It can be done, but you just have to be a little bit more gentle with your throttle application, which of course affects your pace. And it's really frustrating when you then see the drivers that kind of got lucky really with the safety car timing sail away from you. But it is what it is. Disgruntled all over the back of Tar Heels, but Tar Heels is looking very, very in the zone right now, very consistent, very smooth. And the question now will be, well, 2 questions. When does Hildo Baggins pit? And when does Craig catch up to Baba Yaga, and how far up the order can he go? Craig's put the hard tyre on. Oh no, that has to be a mistake, surely. I can only assume that he has he's selected the wrong tyre, because it just doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh no! So not only has Craig had to pit to the back, he's now on the slowest tyre. I mean, I think he'll have to pray for a safety car at this point. That is pretty much. And I mean this in the nicest way. You know, I drive for Mercedes as well, but he's pretty much called that wrong at every step, I'm afraid. For McLaren, sorry, yeah. So Disgruntled up past Tar Heels. What a move from Disgruntled as all of that was going on with Craig. An excellent move into the lead by Disgruntled. He looked like he had the pace, but can Tar Heels now come back? And yes, he can. Oh, and he slightly knocked. I will say, I think he did slightly knock. I think he moved across a little bit too much there. Oh, you got to feel for Disgruntled. I think, from what I saw, I'm not calling it, but I think that Disgruntled got knocked into. I think Tar Heels, I'm sure it was a complete accident, but I think under braking he just moved a little bit too far to the outside. And I mean, really, Disgruntled, he can't react to that. He's already braking. As you know, when you're braking, it's very difficult to change direction. And yeah, I just think that little love tap then happened. And to be honest with you, Disgruntled and Tar Heels are quite lucky to still be where they are. But now, all of a sudden, Heiskrant is your race leader. So again, as I said before, you can't call anything in motorsport. Already it's mixed up. There's still a big question for me on when Hildo pits, and that's just been answered now. Tar Heels will have front wing damage from that contact, and he'll have to pit, whereas I believe Disgruntled won't need to pit. Yeah, so Disgruntled in the end kind of worked out okay from that incident. He'll be annoyed, but it's not the end of the world. As for Hildo and Tar Heels, they've got to box. Tar Heels with a new front wing as well. That's so unfortunate, and it allows Craig through. However, he is on the slow tyre, and he's going to have these drivers on softs, so all to play for. But as it stands, Heiskrant now leading by 4.5 seconds. I don't think anyone would have called that, and that's nothing to take away from him. I just mean based on what we saw out there so far today, you would not have expected Huiskrant to be leading at this stage. But he has a 4.3 second lead over Northern. Suddenly Mercedes in 2 and 3. Gord Source will be absolutely loving that. Unfortunately for any McLaren fans or McLaren drivers at PRL, which includes myself, Craig is going to really struggle in my opinion, because he's got soft runners around in a sandwich almost, and everyone else is quite far ahead. No safety car was called because, again, a bit of sort of synchronized skating almost between Disgruntled and Tar Heels. Tar Heels kind of came off worse. I do think I think it was so tight, but I think he just slightly moved across under braking. But it's just such fine margins in motorsport. You know, these things happen. Everyone does it. Dr. J pitting onto the soft tyre in the Mercedes. I'm surprised by that. I guess he felt the hard tyres wouldn't last, but I think they would. I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it all goes. Marchena's having a great race. In the meantime, I know he has a 3-second pen, and he's on the very difficult tyre, but it looks like he's committed to go to the end, and he's in DRS range of a soft tyre runner, so you can't really ask for more. The race has kind of spaced itself out now after those little incidents. So there's a battle for 4th with 3 different drivers on 3 different tyres, all with penalties. How strange. It's an unusual combination, really. Yeah, all 3 with 3-second penalties and fighting for 4th place. I don't know if Huiskrant's won a PRL race before, but this is a fantastic opportunity for him. While this is running, let me... Oh! Finception almost drops the car there in the same way that Villeneuve did. Let me take a look at the Tier 2 standings again. Well, I would do, but the app's broken. Let me try again. Here we go. Tier 2 standings. So Craig is in 2nd place. DRS Maestro, who I think can't race today, he is in 3rd, so he won't be scoring points. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. I take that all back. Sorry, start again. So Villeneuve, he's DNF'd, and he was in 2nd, which is really disappointing. So just to highlight that DNF for Villeneuve could prove extremely costly, as we see a massive battle here between Hildo and Marchena, and now Hildo on Finception, and he is going to get that move done fairly easily, as Finception also gets past Marchena. Sorry, as Marchena also gets past Finception. Apologies, confused myself. But he's going to struggle with these tyres, I feel, as the race goes on. Finception will be all over the back. Oh no! Oh dear. Oh dearie me, that's got to be a safety car. I mean, it's from what I saw, I don't think that the move was on the way that Finception did that. I think that the problem with overtaking, if you move your car at the very last second, yes, you do get the DRS, but the downside is, as you go to move to the inside, if you do it right at the last second and the driver that's defending kind of feints very slightly, it can throw you off. And then you're kind of I think what happened then to Finception was he felt, okay, the car in front's moved to the left a little bit, so I'm going to now move to the right. But of course, there was never really a gap to the right. It's one of those annoying ones, because I think Finception will say you can't move that late. It's a tough one. I don't know how that will go. But certainly there was no space at the right. I think Finception... I don't know the right answer, but I think if he'd moved over to the left slightly earlier and made it very clear, you know, I'm just going to go down the inside, I don't think that there would have been a defence anyway. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. So Marchena and Finception out of this race. That has really helped a lot of drivers. For example, Disgruntled and Craig being the big winners there. They can now go on to new soft tyres. They've kind of been saved. This really is anyone's race, and you've got to feel sorry for Heitsgram, who has now obviously fallen behind Hildo, who boxed onto the soft tyre. That's kind of a great opportune moment. So his strategy to do medium soft has actually paid off so far. The only question is, with Hildo, his tyres are 4 laps older, and on the soft compound that can make a big difference. And yeah, I'm just reading the Discord with Finception saying went for a gap that never existed. Yeah, I think I agree with that, to be honest, mate. I think it's nice that he's kind of seen that as well. But I think, you know, it's so easy to fix. I think if he just moved to the left half a second earlier, he would have easily got the move done, and he would have been up in whatever position now, fighting for good points. So, you know, it's an easy thing to fix from like a driving style perspective and an overtaking perspective. It's not as bad as it actually looked. So just waiting for Tar Heels to close up. To the back of the pack. And in the meantime, I'm finally going to try and look at the standings and look at what's going on. So Villeneuve, unfortunately, has DNF'd and he's in second. So Tar Heels has a fantastic opportunity now to overtake Villeneuve and come second. And to do so, he would need to obtain 24 points. I don't think 8th place is 24 points. I can look that up later. But I want to say it's something like 4th or 5th for that many points. But I could be wrong. I think he'll need to gain a couple of positions is what I'm feeling. So he's in contention, but he needs to up his game slightly. Northern, in the meantime, is very much on. Because he is 47 points behind second place, and he is in third, so that could well be on. And then Heitsgram on 266 points, of course, is in second. So genuinely, I don't have the brain capacity right now. Like, I need someone with me to do this on a calculator or something. But what I'm trying to say really is there is a battle for second place in the championship, and it's between Heitsgram, Northern, and Tar Heels. And weirdly, probably Tar Heels is looking the most likely to get it, I would say. But again, my maths is not fantastic. Craig is down in 11th place, so Craig won't be able to compete for second place. As the safety car has just been announced, it's coming in. Let's see how he launches. Big gear. Apologies, there's so much lag on my side. I couldn't tell what was going on there, but it looks like everyone is holding station. Joe with his penalty is going to be quite disappointed. That might cost him. But it has allowed all the drivers to close up, as I said before. And Craig now will try to work his way back up the order. He clearly has the pace. He's probably the fastest driver today, it seems. In the meantime, Heitsgram will have to try and make the most of these tyres. It does look like the fresher soft tyre is having quite a lot of fun. Can Hildo Baggins hold on and I assume win his first ever PRL race? Is this his first ever race in PRL? If so, that would be incredible to win on his debut. 4 laps to go now. Lap 33 of 36. And Craig has made the move on Dr. J. He's up to 6th place. But of course that's more like... Oh! It's more like P5 as Hildo has received a 3-second time penalty. That is devastating. Oh my, so right now that would put him down in 5th position. That is such a blow. And at this stage of the race, it's almost impossible to build up that sort of 3-second buffer. Especially while the cars are in the DRS zone. He's going to have to push and find some sort of new level of pace. A sort of tier 1 level of pace if he is to win this race now. So Heitsgram back in the driver's seat, so to speak, both literally and figuratively. Joe as well, proving his pace. He's got to try and get past a few of these guys if he wants to score any sort of real points today. A fantastic end to this race, though. I think Highscram might get past Hildo here anyway, on merit, without DRS. What a move. Highscram having a fantastic race there, getting a move done without DRS. And he has great battery life as well. Looking really good out there. Joe closing in on Disgruntled, but Disgruntled does have that great straight line speed. Is it going to be a late move here? It might well be. Just about gets the braking spot on there and doesn't force Disgruntled too far off. That was a fantastic move by Joe, and good respect from Disgruntled to allow that move. But of course, with the 3-second penalty, Disgruntled will know that it's not too big of a deal. He'll now be hoping actually that Joe can make his way up the order. He certainly, I think he has the pace to get into second on track. Does Joe. Highscran has broken the DRS of Hildo. So that is very much a statement of intent there. That is a driver that really wants to win a race. And Joe, yeah, as we expected, has got past Northern. So I think he will end up getting into second. But then it's a case of how much of a delta can he build up. That 35 for 36. Oh, Hildo's run wide. Oh, and Northern's received a 3-second penalty and he's spun. Oh no. Is he off? Oh my, no, I don't know what quite happened there. I know that someone ran wide, but apologies, I didn't quite get the greatest view of that, but that is absolutely devastating. That will be a last place. That will be a last place for Northern, who I think will have to box. In the meantime, oh, let me just jump up. What's going on here? Disgruntled and Tar Heels. Disgruntled. Oh, Tar Heels, I think maybe could have gone for that move. Oh no, sorry, Tar Heels could have gone for that move, but he just backed away. He's allowed it, but look at this, trying to switch back. It's almost like go-karting now. Trying everything he can to disrupt Disgruntled so that when it gets to this DRS straight, he can make the move. You know, Tiles is not actually trying to overtake at this point. He's just trying to put him off, I think. I've seen this before to good effect by Tar Heels. And then on exit now, he's going to hope to get this move done. Of course, Disgruntled does not have DRS. Very well played by Tar Heels, it seems. But yeah, I think Northern is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to pit, and he could well end up last place. What a disappointing end to his season. And now Joe could all of a sudden grab a second place because he's already building up such a great buffer to Craig. He only needs to get that number over 3 seconds. It's looking like this is going to be a shootout here. So have a look at this number, 2.9. If that number exceeds 3, then Craig actually loses out. So this really is a battle for second place with the Deltas. In the meantime, Dr. J is going to try and get past Disgruntled. Disgruntled's slightly struggling on the soft tyre, I would say, compared to his typical race pace today. Craig 3.5 seconds behind Joe. Joe is pushing for his life. Oh, and Baba Yaga with a little switchback attempt on Dr. J. Oh, my word. Good save. But in the meantime, Highscran in the Ferrari is your Tier 2 race winner at Brazil at Interlagos. What a race. Joe getting past, and that has allowed... I mean, he's got the 3-second barrier, so Joe in second and Craig in third place. I don't think anyone would have called Joe and Craig rounding off the podium before that final safety car was called. That was a complete sort of roller coaster of a race. And the net result is that Highscram wins the final race of the season. Dr. J given driver of the day. I'm trying to think who I would give that to. I was such a... I think Highscran. I mean, I think he was the driver of the day. He used a good strategy, good race pace, good use of ERS. Stayed out of trouble, crucially. And I think he's a very deserved winner. I think he's my driver of the day. Good result. Well, a Ferrari and a McLaren on the podium. That's something that we're actually becoming more accustomed to now. Perhaps not the Haas bit. Wow, that was a fun race. I really enjoyed watching that one. Pretty clean overall. It's a tough track. A few little incidents. I think there will be a few tickets perhaps raised, maybe 3 or 4, but otherwise really good racing from the pack. Massive commiserations to Northern. I'm not sure what caused it, but I just saw him go sideways and lose a wing. I mean, certainly that chicane is known to be a bit of a death zone for these cars, especially now that they're much wider. I wish they'd narrow F1 cars, I really do. But anyway, let's run through your final order for Tier 2 this season. Heiscram wins. Joe Bodome and Craig round off your podium places. Great recovery drives from both. Tar Heels in 4th. That's a fantastic recovery, if ever I've seen one as well. Disgruntled 5th. Dr. J 6th. Nice job in the Mercedes. Baba Yaga 7th. Solid drive. Northern 8th. Baggins 9th. Marchena 10th. Finception 11th. And Villeneuve in very last place with the DNF, the first one, which is a real shame. But that was a really, really good race, and I think it rounds off quite an exciting Tier 2 championship. Because of tickets and so on, it's difficult to call the standings, but we of course already know that Justin is the champion, so congratulations to Justin. He had a week off this week because he's already won. And I think it will come down to who gets second place in the championship. I think it will be Tar Heels. So I'll just sort of preemptively say now, massive well done to Tar Heels for that. And then third place, it could be Heiscram because he won the race. So I think I could see a situation where Heiscram comes third. It's going to be super tight for second place anyway and third, but all of those drivers did a great job. So well done. And to those of you that have been following PRL all season, thank you very much for your continued viewing. And for those of you that are new, thanks for joining. We're going to have a slight break of, I think, a few weeks now. It'll be confirmed soon, just between the new game and the old game. So there'll be some new announcements in due course. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Your commentator today was Lucas Aid, and thanks for watching.